Hi guys. So anyways, I'm going to talk about our situation. It's so complex that it's like people either don't want to touch our file, people don't want to listen to us. Like this is a touchy, complex situation. We went to the courthouse today. Actually, I've been going to the courthouse. This was my third attempt to file or be heard because I had a hearing on the 19th and was not heard. Been trying to be heard in the best interest of our child's safety of her life. Being ignored and being ignored and being ignored time and time again. Making the awareness aware to everybody that is supposed to be in protection of the best interest of my child's life at this point. Yes, her dad and I have had downfalls. I get it. The last year, I struggled after my own brain bleed. I struggled with many things due to medical errors. One of them was being at the Grey Nuns where I was mocked. Oh, you're having a simple migraine. Stop crying. Why? You're being a baby. Like, oh my God. And it's just a simple migraine. You need to stop screaming. You need to stop crying. Blah, blah, blah. So CT scan come out and I've got EMS waiting for me, paramedics, sorry, to take me and transfer me to the U. So the whole way there, you're like processing, I can't take pain, I'm just a big baby. Am I really having a brain bleed? Am I crazy? Are they going to go lock me up? Like, it just doesn't stop, right? I can't tolerate pain. For a very long time, I was mentally struggling with, am I crazy? Did I really have a brain bleed? And every day was like, I was constantly, so many times asking Hugo, did I really have a brain bleed? Just that alone was traumatic. To the amount of degrees that we have been facing as a medical family, the amount that we're being ignored by as a medical family. I'm just going to read a brief statement because people are always willing to be like, hey, look at this, and this image, like, oh, gotta be positive all the time. And nobody ever really wants to take a stand on the dynamics that many of us medical parents are facing. And I'm bringing this one out because it was publicly written on my wall. And I'm not trying to, it's just really difficult because many families face this situation. And this person was a representative of, children welfare in a sense of being a supervisor downtown even. No longer in the position due to, how wonderful of a person she is. Medical mother also. And I'm just going to read her statement here briefly. That was publicly written on my wall, which I've got the statement here. Oh, I hear you, because this was a discussion. Friends who have dealt with it for one-time event or had a child with cancer has simply loved the, children's place of the aged care and spoke so highly of it. I wish I could share those same sentiments, but instead, I think of all the times I have been judged, left in tears, felt like a burden, had social worker come talk to me, been viewed as difficult due to advocating for my daughter, been demeaned, ignored, etc., etc. I know what I'm talking about because it's something that only medical mothers would know. A place that should have a safe place further led to trauma for me. So, and it says, recently my coworker left to go to be at SW at the children where they go, and I had a long talk with her about what to do, not to do, and the need as a medical parent to advocate that it shouldn't change the treatments you or your child gets. And then her comments continue anyways, explaining that she has 18 years of trauma. I have about 16 years of trauma due to the exact same reasons. And I have 2 children who had medical needs, high medical needs. One is our daughter, who we're fighting for right now, who I'm so afraid is never going to be able to make it home because of the negligence and ignorance that our that we are facing right now. Just two people, her dad and I, against all those other people who want to cover up the cruelty that has been created already, that has not been presented or heard. It's a constant battle for medical families, and I'm standing alone constantly. January 29th, they're putting my daughter into a facility that is high risk for her life. And I mean high risk for her life. I've already lost a son, Caleb, and they said, I kept bringing him in and saying, I think he's sick. He's got symptoms of sweaty, clammy, coughing. He's pale. He's cringing when he coughs. And he told me I was being paranoid because of my older daughter. I was trained by Alberta Health. I have been certified, yes, as an HCA worker, but I've worked the floor enough that I did a lot of hands-on training. Not to mention the 15 years of medical care I've done for my child, and I've learned how to access an IVAD. I've learned how to feeding pump. I've learned how to do, how to insert a feeding tube down your nose, all that stuff. I've learned trach care, all that stuff, vents, all that stuff. Even RT positions I've learned. It's a lot for a parent. It's harder when you try to enjoy the system, and one of the biggest problems is the one that's supposed to aid you in the beginning, and it doesn't. They don't tell you, they're like, here, this is the accountant, you follow all the instructions. Okay, you follow the instructions. You do all the deductibles the way they say, send it to the government the way it's supposed to be. Then you get this big, huge ass bill years, while down the road. And you financially cannot afford this because you just took hits. You've had your son pass away. You've got funeral costs or whatever it is that's hitting you. I think it was over 10,000, about 15,000 or something like that. Anyways, we got hit with employer deductions because the accountant didn't account that. So when you sit at this big table, they're like, oh, that's all your problem now. But we set up all these supports in order to assist you to ensure that this kind of stuff doesn't happen. Stress number one. Not even number one. That's not even the number one. But many people can understand, and if you're a medical parent, you can understand what I'm talking about at this point. And what company I'm talking about at this point that we deal with. The flaws that go unnoticed, that never get presented, is the results of medical children. Many medical children in foster care's lives. And I'm afraid that because everybody wants a trophy and a title for their image, they're willing to put my daughter's life at risk without any care. They already did. They drowned her lungs. I'm sorry. They didn't know they needed to cough her. We didn't know we needed to do chest physio. We didn't know. Oh, how much did you suction her again? Oh, she has a care plan. Oh, we've got the external plug-in machine when we're supposed to have a portable for transfers. Oh, we don't have the filter for that machine because we would have to order it from Medigas then. Well, yeah, that's why we have a bunch of extra supplies in stock in our own home. And RN is in too much of a rush to give our daughter meds with history of pneumatosis, so spelled the same way as pneumonia at the end, tosis. 2.5 years we battled this because she wasn't getting the right diet, the right treatment, the right pressures. Just a number, I was told. Our focus is heart and cancer mainly. Yet we bring all kinds of doctors out from all over the world to help all kinds of children. And what? Yeah, $10,000 a day, but yet we can keep all the, pick and choose who we want to survive. Human rights. It doesn't matter if you get hit by a car and you love your life and accept it the way it is. And you can have an eye gaze to run it, and let's say you wanted the choice of everything and struggled at first, but then see your friends and family and everybody, and you're just like, you know what, I love my life. I love waking up in the morning and seeing the grass or the trees or whatever. But all of a sudden you're that person left without a voice, but you can communicate because you got a device that nobody wants to help you with. Because if we actually did that communication device, it would be open freely for everybody to understand. But we'll ignore that for 9 months. We'll ignore everything that would help a family. And everybody's like, look at the image of the Rogers place or this or that. Have you seen the image of the reality of the lack of the scales that they say that are supposed to be, balanced? Because they tipped always and fall. And in the type of family court that I'm in, or we're in, apparently I was told that families like us don't even get a voice. My child doesn't get proper medical representation. And we were told to act like Martha Stewart with them. Act like a puppet. Act like someone else. Act like something else. Basically, don't be a voice. Just be a puppet. There's many of them out there, actually. Oh, but Lisa, I did charting and it was all good things. I don't understand what's going on. Everything has been good. Why are you acting up at this point? Because what's the point now at this point? It's almost Christmas, watching my child cry. You're telling me you did good charting. You don't understand what's going on. I've lost my whole family, basically got my family ripped apart, losing our home. I just survived a brain bleed that people normally die from. Sorry, they called it a rare brain bleed people typically die from, that I survived. I had thyroid cancer that spread to my lymph nodes to the left side, spread into my cells into my right breast. I mean, radiation treatment, all that crap hit me. Loss of our son, our daughter we're taking care of, my dad passing away. It doesn't stop. His daughter lost 2 children, so he lost 2 grandchildren in a very short span. One during the COVID period, and fortunately, from his daughter being sick, the COVID is, it's not easy on our babies' hearts. And the other one, it was just, it was like in November when we were losing our home and everything was just going down and there was so much stress and so much impact. And my brain bleed alone from my family was so hard. Really, really hit my family really hard. And put everybody into a whole, I guess, I don't know, we all kind of just didn't know what to do on that part. Myself kept asking Hugo daily, am I crazy, and all this stuff. And that's hard on the relationship. And eventually he's going to be like, shut up, you're not crazy. What the hell's going on with you? Again, our relationship. It was tough. Lien on the van, can't register it, can't get insurance for the house. And you're just losing everything because you have no insurance for anything. Everything you've worked for, everything he's worked for, everything we've tried to hold on to, everything I've ever worked for in the past, just gone. It's just poof, 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 poof. And nobody can be, oh, mom's got an apartment. We're not going to represent that. Oh, the child's got a pneumonia, aspirated or viral. What does it matter, right? The injury or lack of coughing or just let her drown. And that's okay. And we'll just give the courts our notes and select what we want. And it's true, you can select what you want. And it's also true the judges talk. It's also true the lawyers talk. And it's also true when you're so open about it, how much you begin to understand a circle of birdies come together. Because you're not just someone who's quiet about your child's needs or an advocate for what is going on while you're fighting for and advocating for another child. And you're trying to pull it all together because nobody wants to give you a chance or an opportunity in your life. Everybody wants to just see you spiral because they get something from it when that happens. And that's what's happening, and that's what we're developing as a society today. So at this point forward, I have made their duty aware of everything, majority of important things, and how far he's willing to go to risk our daughter's life, to the point he's willing to place it in harm and risk of death. In my opinions, that's attempted murder with knowledge. Negligence to do harm, not in the child's best interest or safety. And he is doing this willingly to not proceed to present what needs to be presented in the best interest of the child and her life. He picks and chooses. And at this point, this pick and choose has put my child's life on a thread at the point that it literally makes me sick. And knowing that I have medical past histories and I'm not supposed to take more stress or be at risk of more viruses and things like that, just like our daughter, they're willing to push it that far. To put her in a facility that will be full of influenza, RSV, pneumonia, everything that puts people like me and her at risk of immune compromise for a long term. At this point, instead of saying, Your Honor. Yeah, and exactly what, in my opinion, is what they want. Put her in there, let her die. Who cares? Then I can wipe my hands, put it under the carpet, swipe the file away. Nobody's going to know a damn thing because there's nothing she can do about it. Nothing they can do about it. And the child will be gone, so nobody will ever know what happened. Because it's medical. We'll just put it under that and that's it. It's done. You don't think the same thing is going to happen to you in long-term care? It does. One day we're all seniors. Look at me, I'm getting old. Your youth will be old too. And this is what we're leaving behind in society for others. The pain, the burdens, the ignorance, the lack of care for human rights. What we've been taught as a society. Image, money, phones. We lost the values in our families. Grow a garden, make an eco home. You know, the water flows through your home, feeds your plants. Do something that teaches our families how to survive, our villages how to grow the right way. Trade. Make a trade. Anyways, guys, I'm starting to run out of time here. Canada is based on trade as well. We have a story about that for another day, though. But just thought I'd bring up a little bit of this. My daughter has less than 3 days before they put her in harms of risks that she shouldn't have to go through. I asked her if she was happy where she was. She said no. She was sad today, so depressed. And that shouldn't be happening. This isn't the justice in the best interest. 9 months I've been asking for therapy with me and my youngest. No, but they're good at ripping your family apart and not caring the distance, how much it's ruining your family and how much time you lose with your family. They don't care. They want it to happen. And then eventually, there's a story out there. It's already a story. Take Care of Maya, Netflix. That's just one mother out of how many of us already throughout not just my country or province or city. It's a worldwide problem, in my opinion. There's more of us that Take Care of Maya. Netflix is, I don't know how many other stories like mine out there. And it's difficult to hang on when you have a system pushing you to the rock bottom extent that you want to give up. Because you don't feel there is any support or anything out there in the best interest of what is right. Because everybody wants to ignore it so that the corruption of it keeps being hidden. How many medical files will be like my daughter's? And I'm afraid to say it that my daughter's is going to be the next medical file that goes unnoticed and undetected. And I'm going to have 2 funerals because of the injustices of what is happening right now. And they all have the knowledge, but they don't care. No one does. And then my life and my family's life is affected, and who cares? It's a cruel system out there. And I use that word. Just like, oh, it's a threat out of aggravation. In the best interest of my daughter's life at this moment, which is life and death at this moment, that you're willing to put in harm, which is the saddest thing with your knowledge. That is our society today, and our court systems based on every child's life matters. Anyways, hit like or subscribe if you want. It's going to be really tough, and no one can understand that. What we've lost and sacrificed and what we're losing now by the minute of the day as a family, after all we have done and fought for all these years to lose. Because everybody else wants to be on a power trip instead of doing what is the right thing. Keep it high, guys.